Hey there fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and we're in Copenhagen, Denmark, the capital of Denmark. Really cool design city, great architecture, all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, what we have for you today are some of the differences between Denmark and the US. So for travelers coming from the US to Denmark, they know some of the differences so you're better prepared for when you come. Now the first thing I want to talk about is the language. Yes, in the US we only speak English. Well, don't worry, here in Denmark everyone speaks English too. That's one of the things that's really great for a tourist coming to Denmark. You don't have to speak Danish, because you look at the Danish words and be like, I don't even know. I mean, what does a O with a line through it even say? Or when an A and an E have a baby and make like a integrated word from a cartoon? I don't know. And the thing is, you don't have to worry about that. The Danes speak fantastic English. I mean, literally, if you talk to somebody and they have an accent when they speak English, they're most likely not Danish, okay? Because the Danes speak really good English here, so you don't have a problem with that. Now, if you want to know some of the differences in the language, you should know that the Y here makes a, or sorry, the J here makes a Y sound, so it's ya for the J. That A with the E together, that makes like an A sound, and then the O with a line through it is like U. Okay, so just so you know some of the differences, so you can just sound out the words, and they'll laugh at you, but you know, they'll be okay. They'll just switch to English, and you'll be like, oh wow, are you American? Like, no, I'm from Copenhagen. Okay, so the language thing's not a big issue, but they do speak Danish here, but they'll speak English fine. Now the second thing I want to talk about is the money. Now when you come to Denmark, what you should know is here cash is not king. Credit card is king, but actually it's credit card with a PIN number, the secret number, that is king. You have to have a PIN number on your credit card, because if they swipe it and it asks for a PIN number, you have to give it, because they cannot accept it if it needs a PIN, okay? They're very strict with that. We've had people, they said, no, we can't use your credit card, you have a PIN, and the tourist said, we don't have a PIN number. Well, sorry, we can't accept it, okay? And then we've tried to pay with cash, and the guy's like, we don't have any change. So just know, credit cards are king, and you have to have a PIN number with it. That's the big difference on the money. In terms of getting money out, if you want to get cash, there's ATMs all over the country. There's lots of banks, no big deal, and you can choose English or Spanish or German or you know, Danish if you like, Swedish. You can choose those at the ATMs. It's not a problem. So there's multiple languages there. Not a big deal. Now, in terms of the actual money they have bills and notes like we do in the US. However, here, the coins, I would say, are actually worth something. Whereas in the US, you can throw your coins out, no one cares. The coins here, I mean, they have 20 crown coins. Oh, the money here is called crowns, okay? And the usual exchange rate's between like 6.5 and 7 crowns to the dollar, okay? And they have, the terms of the coins, they've got a 20 crown coin, a 10 crown coin, a 5 crown coin, a 2 crown coin, a 1 crown coin, and then there's like a 50 cent or a 50 euro piece that they have out there that they use. Now, what you should know with the coins is, yes, they are actually worth something. Like, you keep those coins, I mean, it's worth, I mean, think a 20 crown coin is like $3. So they have a $3 coin. Now, the bills they have out there start at 50. So the 50, think about it, it's like $7 or $8. That's their first bill. And they have 50s, 100 crown notes, 200 crown notes, 500 crown notes, and 1,000 crown notes. But really what you need to know is make sure you have a PIN number for your credit card. I can't stress that enough, because I've seen a lot of tourists having some problems with that, okay? But just know, credit card is king. You pay with crowns here. It's not the euro, all right? Not the euro in Denmark. Don't bring your euros here, because they don't use them. It's the crown, okay? Now, since we're talking about money, a lot of people get worried, like, Mark, can I take my money out at the ATM, or will someone rob me? Look, in terms of safety, Denmark is probably one of the safest countries in the world. I mean, it's like we're talking, they leave their babies in the stroller outside the store while they go inside safe. So you don't have to worry about people robbing you when you're here, okay? This is a super safe country, so you don't have to worry about that. Now, in terms of the time you have here, in terms of timeliness, hey, things leave punctually. If you have a meeting or a reservation, you're there at the time for that. This is not like Portugal, you show up an hour later. No, if it's at 7, you're there a little bit before 7 for that meeting or for your reservation, okay? Also, the public transportation runs on time here, so make sure you're not late for your bus or your train, because it's not waiting for you. Also, if you're looking at the time, what time it is here, it's the same time as Germany, okay? So it's Central European time when you are here. Now, in terms of eating, now they have their breakfast, lunch, dinner thing here, and breakfast is, you know, usually at the restaurant or the hotels usually go to about 10:30. Lunches go from about 11:30 to 1, and then dinners are like 5 to 8, okay? What you need to know, if you're coming from Italy or Spain or Portugal that like to have late dinners like 10, 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be hard to find restaurants that are open past 10 during the week. On the weekends, chance you can find more, but just know that it's hard to get like a late night meal. In Copenhagen, you find some, but you know, if you're getting outside of Copenhagen, which you should, it is a little more difficult to find places that are open late night. Now, in terms of the service you get when you go to restaurants, I'll be honest with you, service in Denmark sucks. I call it Danish ambivalence. They just don't care. Okay, they got a great life. They're the happiest country in the world. They got their friends. They love them. They don't care about you or your money, and that kind of gets a little frustrating. So just know, service isn't so good here. Okay. Now, what's cool is the service is not good here, but at least you don't have to tip. So in Denmark, there's no tipping. I mean, you can leave some, and no one's going to say no to your money, but don't expect them to say thank you because they don't make small talk here. So just know, no tipping on that bad service. It's okay. All right. Now, in terms of the things that Danes will like want you to eat when you're here, some are really good, some not so good. I mean, it depends on you. Things I recommend you have, it sounds silly, but have a Danish hot dog. I mean, usually it's going to be a red hot dog on a normal bun, and on it they'll put like crispy fried onions on top, and they'll put pickles on top, and then the national obsession of remoulade. It's like this yellow mayonnaise. It's not mayonnaise, it's like this sauce they put on top. It's kind of sweet. You're gonna have it, believe me. Okay, that's one thing you really should try. Another thing you have to have is have Danish pastries. You know, you go back home and you have Danishes, and they're always like the tastiest breakfast treats out there. The Danish bakeries here make fantastic pastries. I mean, literally, I'm depressed that I have to leave because I'll never have a cinnamon roll like my kanelgriffel, my cinnamon snail I had the other day. I'm like depressed because now I'm gonna be like 50 pounds lighter in my summer videos because I won't be eating the tasty foods anymore. And it's all your fault, Denmark, for having such great pastries. Dang you. No, and then there's other things you should try. One of the things is like Smørrebrød. It's like, well, I don't know if I'm saying it rightly. It's basically an open-faced sandwich on rye bread with like shrimp cocktail on top or steak tartare on top. And the thing is, you have that, and then you have Akvavit, a shot of like the local Danish schnapps. That's something you really should have. But in general, the Danish food isn't that great, but the restaurants in Denmark do a really good job of cooking other international fare very well. So though it is super expensive here, when you go to the restaurants, you usually do eat very well. And if we look at the expensiveness of Denmark, is it expensive? Yes, it is. Even the U.S. Embassy says it's 30 to 40% more expensive than the U.S. And I feel it's even more than that because if you want to buy a pint of beer here, it's about $8 to get a beer at the bar. Okay? You go to Portugal, it's $1. All right? So just know, $8 beers. Go having a meal, it's about $25 for a typical plate. So just be ready for a painful wallet experience when you do come here. So maybe make it a long weekend instead of a week, okay? Because it is expensive when you come here. Now, other services you might need are the toilets. Now, the toilets here work like everywhere else. You can wipe your butt and throw it in the toilet. You're fine there. They might have a push button or a pull thing that makes them flush. No big deal. You can figure that one out. Other things you might look at is if you're going to have your laptops or your cameras and you need to charge them, the plugs here are like the two circle plugs like you have in the rest of Europe. No big deal there, whereas the US is the two flat ones. Here it's the two circle ones. You can get an easy converter anywhere in the US at your Best Buys and stuff like that. The thing is your laptops and your tablets and your phones usually already have a box and they'll do the converting. You just need a thing that switches it from this to this, okay? And then the last thing I want to talk about that might be important for tourists to know is public transportation. Now, public transportation in Denmark is very efficient and it runs on time, so awesome there. Also, what's really strange on the public transport is nobody talks. It's a very silent, almost eerie quietness on there. So if you're traveling with your friends, talk softly when you're on there, or listen to your music softly, because people don't really talk on public transport. You know, I mean, it's just really quiet on the public transport, though it is a little pricey. I mean, like everything here, the public transport is pricey, but does run on time. Buses and trains will take you throughout the country, no problem. And also, they love their bikes here, so you can take the bike pass all throughout the country, and you'll have a great time. Anyway, those are some differences between Denmark and the U.S. that can help you know a little bit better before you come. If you want more, please check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and please subscribe at youtube.com/woltersworld. Bye from Copenhagen, and now he can do his own little tour.